Hi everyone, nice to see you again. I'm Amy Lei, a stock trainer from Home Chart, which is a stock training school. And this is the fifth video of my channel, Amy's Stock Analysis Daily. And the topic today is, shall we chase after Apple? We know that after last Friday's big rise, Apple now already hit a new high, right? So many people are wondering, is it still okay to chase after the rally? And for those who have bought before, they are also wondering whether they should sell it or not to take profit because it seems like too high. Is there any danger lurking there, right? So today I'm going to share with you how to deal with Apple. And on the top, you will see this homely investment philosophy, which goes index first, individual stocks next, long-term first, short-term next, and operator familiar, right? So means if we want to know the performance of the individual stocks, then we'd better check the performance of the index first, because for most of the times, the individual shares would follow the performance of the indexes, right? So if we check the chart for Nasdaq and Apple, and we will see that for most of the times, the performance of Apple is the same as that of Nasdaq. So you see, so currently Nasdaq also at the previous high, about to hit a new high, and our Apple hit a new high a bit, right? And then when Nasdaq began to give us the big crash, then Apple also followed the suit, right? And then when Nasdaq a drop give us a correction, then Apple also correction, big correction, then big correction, small correction, then small correction. So bottom for Nasdaq, then bottom for Apple. So you check the history, you will realize that the two move almost the same, right? So means the performance for Apple in near future would most likely follow the performance of Nasdaq, right? So here then for the US market, so for Nasdaq, so how possible is it going to drop, or how much likely that it can remain still so strong in near future? And for the news, from the aspect of news, we know that last Friday the U.S. market went up forcefully, right? So the reason is because we have such announcement that the U.S. unemployment rate in May falls significantly to 13%. So it's much lower than the popular expectation of 20%. So that's why the U.S. market gave us a very big rise last Friday. But then it turned out that this is a misclassification error. Because of this misclassification error, that's why the figure it looks much better than it should be. Means without such a misclassification error, the unemployment rate should be actually 16%. It's not 13%. Okay, so this is not a very good news, right? Okay, so from the aspect of news, then it's not so positive. It's negative news, bad news, but news are just news. The candlestick chart has the final say. We always have to conform whether or not the market would drop by checking the candlestick chart. Okay, so let's go back to the candlestick chart. And if you have watched my previous video, actually I have done some analysis for about Nasdaq, right? Because in my when I was sharing my previous video about the performance of Nasdaq, so at that moment Nasdaq already very close to the previous high, and now has already reached the previous high, right? And then I have shared that for Nasdaq, if we check the deviation expert, which checks the night fund flow, night fund inflow, and night fund outflow. Red bar means inflow, net inflow, and green bar means net outflow. We know that in the stock market, actually the fund, the money flow is the only reliable thing. Nothing as reliable as the money flow. So deviation expert actually checks the net money flow. Okay, and we have mentioned ever since 21st April, although Nasdaq remain very strong, right? If we check the deviation expert, the fund flow actually has weakened, has slowed down. The pace has slowed down. So this is obviously a bearish signal, right? So we mentioned this is a potential bearish divergence because currently the price already reached the previous high, but it's not. We check from here. The prices keep going up all the time, but then for our deviation expert, the high point is becoming lower, right? So this is a potential bearish divergence, and also because it's the common sense that in the stock market, right? If the price reached the previous high, it should be the resistance level. So currently, Dow Jones at a significant resistance level, previous high, combined with the negative news, the bad news, and also confirmed by the money flow, which means that recently the money actually is flowing out, more money flowing out. Although if you see the price, you can see nothing wrong, but behind you see the money flow. That tells you the reason behind the movement, the price movement, and means what? It's likely that in near future the Nasdaq would give us a correction first. But how big the correction can be, for that we cannot tell now. We should wait and see, right? But what's give us a higher probability is correction, at least a short-term correction in near future. That's highly possible. Okay, so then just now we mentioned the performance of Nasdaq and the performance of Apple. Actually, they move roughly the same. So means if Nasdaq in near future it drop, it cracked, then for our Apple also high probability it would drop first, right? Okay, and if we also check the chart for Apple, we check the chart for Apple, and we will see the similar phenomenon for Apple. Here, the high point, and now currently the price already taken out the previous high here. So the high point is becoming higher and higher. This is not the real high point. And if in future the price continue going up, in near future continue going up, this is not the real high, right? But if in near future the price no longer hit new highs and begin to drop, we will get another second high point. And in any way, the second high point is sure higher than the first high point. But then for our deviation expert, we can see very clearly this high point previous high point and the current deviation as per the high is lower, right? So means for deviation expert, if we check, it's also a potential bearish divergence. Once the bearish divergence is completed, it's very likely that the price will drop first. So when will the divergence be completed? We wait for the bar of deviation expert turn color to green, for a turn color to green, and then for the price it begin to drop a bit, so we get a high point, right? So that's almost that's already confirmed bearish divergence, but currently not yet completed. The bearish divergence not yet completed, but we know the danger is accumulating there. It's dangerous, right? So okay, so we have made it clear for the dangers, that is the potential dangers that is accompanying IPO now, right? And then means what? If you haven't bought this share before, better you stay sidelined first. You stay sidelined first to see if there is a correction or not. Even if there is no correction, considering for a long time the price keep going up all the time, right? So the correction might come at any moment. So why not wait for another big opportunity after the correction? So we just need some more patience. We need to be patient for IPO to correct, right? And then how about for those who already hold IPO now? If you hold IPO for now, so when should you begin to sell, right? So when should you consider to sell? So currently, let's say for short-term trading, right? Because currently the market performance is not so stable. We have a lot of uncertainties involved there, right? So better we trade for short-term, right? So for short-term trading, this red and white circle is a very powerful weapon. When you see the circle turn color from white, so currently it's a white circle, right? White circle. If you see the color turn red, turn color from white to red, first the red circle, that's a short-term buy point. So after you buy, when to sell, as long as the circle remain red, I remain holding. So you see, for short term, this is relatively a significant correction. Many people, when saw this, might sell, right? But if you sell, you miss the future potential rises. And then when is the final confirmation, you should sell. So the first white circle. When we get the first white circle, we sell for short term. So after we sell for short term, then we wait for the circle. We wait until the circle turn color to red again to buy again for short term. So just 2 days, 3 days correction, let's say, or sideways there, then the circle turn color to red again. This is another short-term buy point. So after the short-term buy point until now, so we keep holding. So if you really want to sell for short-term, you wait for another signal, which is white circle. Wait in future, if the circle turn white, you sell immediately, okay, for short term. Okay, so if you have followed the circle, actually for the rally, the recent rally for IPO, you can catch it. And then you might argue, well, if you see this time it turned color to white, but the price didn't really drop. it just sideways there for 2 days, then continue going up. And also for this time, after the circle turned white, the price also didn't really drop, right? So is it okay that I see the first white circle, I still keep holding? Okay, so the problem is red and white circle is a short-term indicator. It's not a medium-term to long-term indicator. So this sell point here, white circle here, is the short-term sell point. If you want to trade for medium-term to long-term, in future I can share with you some other indicators. But then, if you don't follow the circle to trade and you are trading short-term and you don't follow the circle, what would happen? See previously, when the circle you see here, it's red, then it turned to white, right? It turned to white circle if you don't sell. Then, see, this big drop, you have to lose all the profit you have made previously. Maybe you have held Apple for a while and you made some profit, but after this sharp drop, then you have lost everything. Okay, so it's very important. If you trade for short term, the white circle can always help you escape the big drops and you can secure the profit you made. You know, the problem with many investors in the stock market is not that they cannot make profit. The problem is simply they cannot secure their profit. After they made profit this time, and then they have to lose back all the profit they have earned previously. So that's why for retailers it's very difficult to make profit. So means what? In the stock market, safety is always the first important thing, the most important thing. And then the profit comes as second. So we need to avoid risks. When you see the white circle, you simply sell. Then you can always avoid risks. See, white circle, then drop further, right? You see, after that also a big drop. As long as you follow the white circle to sell, you always can avoid being stuck and avoid losing all the profit you have made previously. Okay, so that's the method I have shared with you today, how to deal with Apple, right? And we have mentioned the potential risks accompanying this share, right? When it's already already hit a new high, but the deviation expert, it seems like the money inflow is weakening, and the energy supply, if energy supply is not strong enough, then where do we get this momentum, right? So the price would lose its momentum, right? So and also if we check the index Nasdaq, also it's very likely that in near future there might be at least a short-term correction. So if Apple also follow the suit, also it's means that higher probability there might be a correction, right? And then for those who have bought previously, maybe at this first red circle or maybe at this first red circle, and you haven't yet sold away, then you can wait for the circle turn color to white to sell. And then I also need to mention, if you have bought here, so recently, right, just 3 days ago, if you have bought, and here you need to be very careful because you have bought at a very high position, and at a very key position. This is a very sensitive position here. If you have bought here, although it's red circle, it's also possible if the market really turned bearish in near future that the price would drop because your cost is at a very high level. Once the price drop a little bit, maybe just a little bit, you will be stuck. So if you have bought recently, you really need to be careful. Maybe you don't need to wait for the white circle to sell. You wait for the white circle to sell, you might already have lost some money. Okay, so then how to sell? If you have bought recently, maybe you can check the minute chart, the 60-minute chart, or maybe even faster, 30-minute chart. You check the 30-minute chart and 60-minute chart. Then if you see some sell point in the minute chart, you can escape first. Okay, that's the most important thing for short-term trading, which is run fast. You need to escape the potential danger as fast as you can. Okay, so that's all about today about Apple. And the next video, my the sixth video would come tomorrow 3 p.m. So see you tomorrow at 3. Bye bye.